Hello everyone, it's BG here, and we're back to talk about more My Hero Academia. So, if you've all been caught up, My Hero Academia just gave us one of the best arcs in Weekly Shonen Jump. But what was it exactly that made that arc so special? The unique nature of the arc was definitely its greatest strength. Now, at least in my opinion, no other arc in recent memory has focused strictly on the antagonist with the main cast nowhere in sight. And that to me is a really big deal. That alone would make it something really special, but that's not all. The character growth, development, and the new perspective on our main antagonist definitely helped, especially when looking at the dynamic between Reed Destro and Shigaraki. It really helped push the arc's themes and storytelling in a very well executed way. All of these factors are what makes My Villain Academia one of the best shonen arcs in recent memory. Most series that try and create an arc without their main characters are usually unable to find their footing and have a general lack of direction and interest from their audience. My Hero Academia, however, is the exception. Horikoshi was able to not only successfully get his audience on board, but was able to craft one of the best shonen arcs in recent years. His story is known for following the students of UA High as they develop into the next generation of heroes. With My Villain Academia, he was able to switch his focus to his antagonists as they develop into the next generation of villains. If you've been in the My Hero Academia community for any amount of time, you would know that the League of Villains have been one of the most polarizing parts of Horikoshi's work. The reason for this was mostly due to the lack of depth, characterization. Now, me personally, I've always been a fan, but I can definitely see why they wouldn't appeal to all. Now, this arc was able to successfully make you, as the reader, sympathize and root for the villains. It gave you the backstories of characters like Twice and Toga, which gives you new insight and depth to these formerly one-dimensional characters. Let's start with Toga. Toga was a character who was simply crazy and sadistic with no depth, but this arc established the idea that she was a little bit more than that. She was a girl who consistently hid who she truly was and wore a mask of normalcy in exchange for her happiness. Now, even though her true self is quite insane, it's what makes her happy. This is what makes her relatable and gives the audience a different view on her character. Because, at least in what I've seen, she hasn't really been well-liked throughout the community for the majority. But this action with her was a very common occurrence throughout the arc, and was one of the things that gave the arc its identity and really put the League of Villains on the map for a lot of people. Twice is the same. Now, even though Twice had gained a bit of depth earlier in the story during the overhaul arc, for the most part they were still a mystery. It's not really till this arc that we learned that he was just a victim of bad luck that had him spiraling into a life of crime, which also led to his very apparent psychosis. His origins are what established this as the theme throughout the arc, really, and that's that all it takes is one bad day. This theme is most prevalent with the main character of the arc, Shigaraki Tomura. Now, we have a lot to say about Shigaraki, but let's start here. The arc showed that Shigaraki was regaining his memories and points out that he's not too different from everyone else. He had dreams of heroism, and just like our main hero, he began his story as a quirkless young child. He had a family that didn't truly give him the support, another parallel, and with that in mind, the day his quirk finally activated is the day it all went wrong. It ended up being too much for him to handle, and thus ended with his family being taken out by his newly acquired quirk. Now, Shigaraki remembering all this led to him gaining an understanding behind his motivation and why he feels the way he does. That was what created the clash between Shigaraki and the main antagonist of the arc, Reed Destro. Let's look at it here. Reed Destro seek to rebuild the world in a way that had society being filled with liberated individuals who could use their quirks freely, just as nature intended, while Shigaraki is the one who sought to destroy the world that rejected him and those like him. The battle between them started out as a battle of conflicting ideals that ended with Reed Destro realizing that Shigaraki is a personification of the very ideals that he was fighting for. So honestly, him continuing fighting would lead to him actually fighting against his own beliefs. And what his beliefs are made for is to create a truly liberated being, and that is exactly what Shigaraki became throughout this arc. And that led to Shigaraki growing to be an immensely powerful character, because now he has the strength to destroy even a large city. And a jump in power like this would usually seem like a leap in logic in most cases, but Horikoshi handled it in a way that was very well executed, and it didn't lead to a big power creep that's going to affect the series from here on out. Instead, it actually was handled in a way that creates a threat for our main characters and something that they have to work towards for the rest of the series. The thing that really pushed this arc into being one of the best arcs in Shonen, outside of the things I've listed so far, is what this arc has done for the series as a whole. It's the arc that has truly established My Hero's mark on the industry. It's done something at a time where being unique was considered nearly impossible. It even had the CEO of CyberConnect 2 commenting on how the arc was committing a taboo by showing the villains growing. It's done something seriously outside of the norm and was even able to make the audience root for the wrong side for an entire arc. I mean, that's saying something if you ask me. This arc was a fun ride and was just what My Hero Academia needed. It had us looking at our antagonists in a different light and to a certain extent made us prefer them over our main cast. It made waves throughout the industry and had everyone talking. It became something that will be talked about for years to come once the series ends, and will be known now and forever as one of the best arcs in Shonen. Now, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and please come back next time and we'll have more to talk about in the future.